Well, we will reassess at the end of November, beginning of December, but right now, as the Premier League season is about to kick off with Manchester United against Leicester, how do you assess their transfer window?
Like, you're expecting Man United to do a lot more business. You know, they've made no secret of the fact that they were after centre-halves. They chased down Harry Maguire, you know, Toby Alderweireld. I thought that at some stage they probably might have got one of those two, and it wouldn't have been a bad thing. But he's saying, Mourinho, they're saying about judging in November. I think that November, when you look at Manchester City's start and the way their players, they look really invigorated already. When you look at the next 6 games or whatever it is after the Arsenal game, by October, they could do what they done last season. They could literally win all those games. And, you know, you're hoping that Man United are going to have some players who are going to be rested. They ain't going to be coming back yet. They're going to need to start really quickly. You know, I don't think Lukaku probably won't start the season. Martial, they're saying Martial will start. Pogba probably won't start the season. Lingard probably won't start the season. So it's going to be an interesting start for them.
We're talking about the players, Liam, that they haven't signed Manchester United, the players that are already there. What about the players that they've brought in? Because it started quite optimistically, this transfer window.
It did. Obviously, they took Fred really early in the window, and he's someone that's really impressed me. He gives them a different dimension in midfield. You've got the power of Pogba and Matic's defensive qualities. What Fred can do, he can find passes through eyes of a needle. He can play between lines. He's very offensive. And I think when they started the transfer window, they looked like they were really going to push to get closer to Manchester City. To be honest, I understand Jose's point of view in that he wants the best squad possible, but there's probably 90 managers out of 92 in this league that would love to have the problems he's got. And for me, with the amount of money he's spent over the last 2 years, I think that they need to still be looking to push Manchester City all the way. And instead of maybe talking down about his centre-halves, he should be building up their confidence and saying what I have is good enough. Yeah. And we speak about Guardiola and the money he spent, but the season that he had, fantastic season he had Otamendi and company, who he actually didn't sign himself. So I think sometimes, yeah, being a coach, you want to bring in the best players, but you also, as a coach, want to improve the players you have.
Yeah, I mean, we look at the amount there, Kelly. There's 400 million since Jose's been at the club. I mean, so most managers don't spend that in a lifetime of managing. You know, he's been very fortunate to be given the funds at the biggest club in the world. I can't understand why any player or any manager with that backing and at the biggest club in the land, one of, is ever disgruntled. I just think Jose needs now to get in front of the camera on their press conferences, which are daily, weekly at Manchester United, and send a message out to the players that this is what we've got now, I believe in you, and we'll go and we'll push Man City a lot closer this season. Because when you sit in front as a manager, in front of the media, you're not only talking to your fans, to your players, but you're also talking to the board. I think he's got to stop talking to the board now. There's nothing he can do now. The window's closed. He has to carry on, and he has to get knuckled down and get the best results for his club. And he needs to send out a positive vibe. We've been in the dressing room. We know what it's like. We all talk. We'll talk to each other. So I'm sitting there as Lindelof or Bally or Smalling or Jones. You know, they're all international footballers, and thinking that we were not really wanted here. You know, obviously the manager was trying his best to go and bring a replacement in. He wasn't allowed to do it, and he's almost just left with us. So I think now's the time to knuckle down and get on with it and start sending a positive message about the whole club of Manchester United. And
even with Pogba winning the World Cup, and you know the comments he made, you know, saying, yeah, well, you know, it's 6 games and you've got to do it over a long. It's got, you know, to poo-poo somebody who's won the World Cup, somebody that you want to come in and you want to try and give him as much confidence and as much kind of leeway to come in and try and inspire your team to kick on like that. Exactly. You just wonder why he does that. I've got a lot of time for Jose, but he does things where I just think to myself, why would you say that? Why do that? It just, like you say, he's got to be in contention.
Yeah.
Tim, you were talking about the relationship between Jose and the board, which at times, given what Jose Mourinho has said, has seemed quite fraught, particularly throughout this transfer window. What, Liam, do you think is Manchester United's transfer policy? What are they looking to buy? What are they looking to create?
To be honest, I don't know at the moment, and I think that's part of the problem. You know, we saw the sign of Sanchez in January, and then you see Rashford trying to fit in Rashford off the right side, off the left, trying to fit Lingard in. That's part of the problem, and we're going to speak about Tottenham later not signing players, but sometimes the biggest problem you can cause is by signing too many players. And we've seen the likes of Lindelof and Bailly be signed in the last 2 years, two young centre-halves that were probably thought of being coming into their prime now, well, Bailly, in terms of him, I'm really impressed by him, but he's been injured, and Lindelof hasn't produced the form that maybe he was looking to do. Is that down to the player? Or is it down to the environment, the tactical element of the team, and the coaching that goes on? Because I'm looking over at Manchester City and seeing what Guardiola's doing with players that, likes of Otamendi, didn't play anywhere near the level until Guardiola came in, what he did last season. That's part of coaching as well, getting the best out of your players. And I need to see that now from Manchester United.
I think the board and the recruitment policy at every football club needs justification from the manager of why you want to sign these certain individuals. Now, when Jose's going to him and saying, I need the centre-back, really, that's what I need. They'll say, well, you've got 6. So what are we going to do with those? So
and the last 2 you bought.
And 2 of those are the ones you paid a lot of money for anyway. So do we now believe they're not good enough for Manchester United and we need to bring in a new one? They're the sort of questions I think every board member and a chairman of football clubs have got a right to ask. I think sometimes they poke their nose in when it's not wanted, in regard to football side, but once they're spending their money, I think they've got every right to ask for justification why you want certain individuals in your football club.
What do you think of the Manchester United defence then as it stands?
I think they are, the whole squad as a whole, not only the defence, but the goalkeeper is probably one of the best in the land. I think given the right confidence and playing the right way, I think Manchester United should be very close to challenging for the Premier League with the squad they have now, without bringing anyone in.
Yeah, I think I see the quality of players, but I see an imbalance at the moment in the squad, and I see it's top heavy. You got the likes of you see the likes of Martial have problems in pre-season because they can't fit in his talents at the moment, and that's what I'm talking about in terms of recruitment. So in terms of the balance of the squad, Valencia's is way past his 30s now, in the full-back areas, maybe they need to do something there. But Manchester United have had time to address that, and they haven't. And speaking about their transfer policy, that's something that they need to correct moving forward.
We should reiterate that they have brought players in. It's natural in a transfer window to concentrate on what's happened in the latter stages, and that's been the kind of story of their transfer window. Where are they in terms of challenging Manchester City for this season, do you think?
The Man United, they're way up there. You know, we're talking about Man United as if it's major doom and gloom, and the only reason why we're doing that is because of the way the manager's demeanour. They finished second last season, and like I say, you know, they've got goal scorers, they've got world-class goal scorers, they've got midfielders, they've got capable defenders. And like Tim said, they've got the best goalkeeper in the world for me, and now they don't have to worry about him going to Real Madrid. You look at it, you know, and they've just signed like Fred, like Liam's just mentioned. Sorry, I called you your dad.
That's all right, it's not
like Liam just mentioned, another top-quality player. Now, OK, the window's closed. I still think that Man United can get close to Manchester City, who are going to be dominant again. You know, and I believe that now he's got to start to instill the confidence of chasing them down with players that, if I'm looking in the tunnel, Tim, and Man City and Man United are lined up together, if I'm Man City, I'm still looking at them thinking they cause us problems here today.
Well, they did
because they are a fantastic team.
Yes.
And I just think that everything comes down to the way the manager's putting them out there.